Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me tonight. I appreciate you being here with me. Last night, as you probably know, there was the eclipse on the full moon. Um, I didn't personally see it during the night, but I hope some of you maybe did. Um, what interests me more than just looking at the moon, I do that too. When I get up in the middle of the night, then I usually look out the window. If it's warm, sometimes I go outside and just talk to the moon and enjoy the beauty of it, especially on the full moon. But what interests me more about the moon is its energies and how we interact with those and how they're meant for us and how it speaks to us and how it plays out in our lives. Not in a way of astrology. I'm not an astrologist. I don't find my own information and figure it all out. I get most of my information on the moon energies each week from moonreading.com. I get a daily oracle card reading that's based on moon energies of the day. And then there's the weekly horoscope and monthly dates that are important for your moon sign. So not your sun sign. And the moon rules your heart, our passions, our desires. And that's why it interests me. I think it's so important that, especially in these times, the time we live in, but every time, every era, every um, day, it's so important that we tap into our heart energies and not just let our minds um, rule things and go forward. I mean, we need our minds. We use them to make our desires and passions become reality. And so this week's full moon energies, the full moon was in Pisces, and the energies enable us to surrender, to release, and then gain clarity so that something new can come in. If we're releasing the old and something new can come in. And with the moon, especially the full moon, gratitude is so important in helping that happen, of that release and the entering of the new. Um, so what are we releasing? This month, we're specifically working on releasing control. And during Pisces, the veil between the physical and spiritual thins, and it's probably easier to tap in. Like it was easy for me this morning as I was walking my dogs and going to the post office. It was like those energies were speaking to me, and it wanted to bring me something. It wanted to something new for me. And so I said, yes, of course. That's what, and I asked, but I said, but it's a shift. It's something new, a new pattern to release the old shifts and a new change in inner work and inner pattern. And I said, yes, please. I want it very much. And so I got the energy swirled around me and poured through me and integrated, and I could feel it all. And when it settled, then I was just asking, is that all? Is that what it was and things? And the answer was I would get three of them and they would all be today. And so I did. They all happened within like 10 minutes or 15 minutes of each other. And so that was the first one that I talked about. The second one was lesser. It wasn't quite as noticeable, but it was still very distinct. And about 10 to 15 minutes later, and then after that one, another one that was stronger than the first came. And so I don't yet know what pattern has shifted or what new pattern is beginning in my life. And often I find that out during the night if I wake up or first thing in the morning after it integrates overnight. And one thought that came to my mind was I've heard that every 90 days, our body kind of, or our mind patterns kind of catch up. It does a reset like every quarter, every 90 days. And I was wondering if maybe, because I've been doing new things and working hard at changing some old patterns that are no longer helpful. And so I was wondering if maybe it was my time for that 90-day reset, and then those new changes will come with that. I don't know yet. I'll keep you posted if it's warranted or if it's interesting. But so we're giving up control. It wasn't what my primary thought was. My primary thought was, in the physical when it asked w- if I would want this, then yes, my physical thought was, for more resources or more money or more, um, you know, bigger ideas or something supplied that we were needing or wanting, something like that. But then the small voice says, it's for inner work. It's an inner shift. And that touches my heart, my desires, my passions, because really, as much as I desire the physical, it I desire the spiritual and the emotional more. And so that's what I got. That's what came. And anyway, so because that veil with Pisces um, is thinner between the physical and spiritual, just like I was talking, I expected the physical, but it was the spiritual. And and it was the physical world around me, but I heard the spiritual energies of the moon speaking and the planet, probably Pisces speaking. And so, all the more with spirit, we're supposed to trust our instincts and our intuition and pay attention to our dreams. And that synchronicities may come, messages to guide us toward more spiritual alignment in our life journey. So this is a nudge about releasing control, of not letting our disappointments or times of overwhelm hold us back because we're too upset about them, or wanting to make happen what we want to happen. The goal is to flow like a river, which is very interesting to me, because if we're supposed to flow like the river, which is wonderful, and flow toward our dreams, well, water, especially moving water, symbolizes money. So if we're moving in spirit and moving and flowing in spirit, then the resources or the money should be able to flow to us that much more too. And you think, it's easy to say, and yes, it is. And it's not easy to do or not easy to come. I know I've been working on things for quite a number of years, and I still have some of that old control based on traumas I've experienced and that protection mechanism. And so I'm kind of rambling. Just think of it as, maybe there's a thought here that can help you relate to some of your old patterns and what you might need to what you're being called to release or to look at to gain more clarity. And that's my message, I guess, with this moon energy, about the control. So I just have some questions for you, like, where in your life do you try to control what is unfolding naturally? You can find, if you're trying to control, by you'll feel resistance in your body. You're not wanting that to happen. You want to steer it toward what you would rather have. So if you're feeling contraction of any kind, either shorter breath, or just feeling harder in your body, hesitant, um, not trusting, type of thing, that's the control behind it all. So how much further would you like to go? if you could let go of all that fear or doubt that you're trying to control, that causes you to have resistance to what's happening, right? Where are you trying to get to that doesn't seem to be happening as you expect? And how, again, it goes back to our mind, right? About being in the physical, where the things we're wanting that our mind wants to happen, that we expect to happen, aren't happening, and we resist. We try to control it, hoping to steer it toward what we do want with our mind. And this time is so good with that because with with the moon in Pisces, with our desires and passions on our cuff, on our sleeve, so to speak, more open, more easily to be expressed. And then with Pisces, that the thinness between the physical and spiritual, it is an ideal time to um, let go of this control, to learn to let go and to receive the spiritual that wants to happen when it's the physical that we're resisting. And these energies had changed right away. I had a really nice day on Friday, and Saturday woke up. It was different. It was a different day. It was like uh, many things happened that challenged our wanting of control of things that we resisted. We were getting ready to go somewhere in the morning, and it was like thing after thing after thing for both my husband and for myself. It was like things happened that were like roadblocks that slowed us down, or things that happened that normally wouldn't have happened. But like he was trying to find a tool. He found the tool, but he couldn't find the adapter. So he had to go way out of his way, take 40 minutes when we're trying to get ready and try to find this thing. He did find it, which was great. We were getting breakfast ready. Something spilled all over the floor. Breakfast took a long time to, I make fruit smoothies. It just took forever and ever and ever. It wouldn't get smooth. I kept having to add more and more water. It was just so different than usual. And then we left, but we only got a block away, and I remembered I'd forgot something. So we came back, and I took my key out of my purse and ran in the house, opened the door, put the keys in my pocket. By the time I got the stuff and got back in the car, the keys were not in my pocket, and we still haven't found them anywhere. And it was like, by that time, I said, "Oh, it's moon energies. Something's different is happening. The astrology is different." And it's like I like to always ask, well, and talk to the moon or whatever energy is happening. It's like, please show me how I can work with you instead of against you today. And it was just relaxing. It was a letting go. It was stepping back and saying, okay, well, this stuff doesn't matter. Yes, it was frustrating a little bit, but it doesn't matter. We can make new keys. We can find them later, whatever works out. But it was that test of our wanting control over our lives, of wanting control of what happened, of um, wanting things to always work out so smoothly, and of course they don't. And then we went somewhere, and um, everything worked smoothly when we were there. But as soon as we stepped in the door, these things began happening again. Two or three things right away that were just showing again that p- the moon energy was working in our favor. It was saying, "Here, I'll help you learn to let go of your control. I'll help you release that resistance. I'm gonna I'm going to cause this to happen, or shift your energy so something else happens, so that you have that opportunity to let go of your control." And it's not always fun, and it's not always pleasant, but that's often how the astrological energies work, of giving us those opportunities to let go of our control, to let go of our release, to just receive what is happening and let the universe work for our highest spiritual good because we're spirit beings. And we're just having here temporarily our physical bodies. And so this control for the physical realm isn't what we're meant to do. It's the spiritual that we're meant to focus on. And that's why I'm doing these mooning the ancestors, because people have been the same basically throughout the ages. Our ancestors, many of them had these same struggles of control or release or flow, and not being able to handle things as much. Way I've been shown in my meditation and hypnosis and in my studies, spiritual studies, that there was a time when most people knew, when our ancestors at that time, everybody knew what was supposed to happen, and they raised their children knowing how things worked and how to handle life and what everything was about and what energies were working for and how to communicate with them, and all this stuff. It was all known. It was it would have made life so much easier here on earth. The struggles that we have were not meant to be. It was meant to, yes, there would be some struggles, or it would be experiences that would be easy. And then once the mindset of God that we were designed to have and that we come to earth with, um, was no longer prevalent among most of our ancestors eventually, because the truths were occulted and then forgotten totally and weren't teached from generation to generation. And the old stories and stuck energies within all our biofields just started mounting higher and higher and higher. And so now we carry all of ours, and we carry all our ancestors too. And it's time to clear. It's time to release those, especially at this time. And so I just encourage you to think on that. One of the things that helped the ancestors really release was the trees. Originally, there was the giant trees and other very big trees or large trees, and now, of course, today we have our regular sized trees, and they're all good. But the giant trees, what I was showing and spiritually, was that they pulled up the crystal energy from their roots, and they pulled it up through their trunk and out through their leaves, and spread it out through the universe, like the molecules of water or air going throughout the universe from the tree. And those frequencies, it was like a biofield tuning, right? It was like all these crystal energies spreading throughout the the ether, reaching everybody, and all you had to do was know about it and tap into it and ask, want it, be willing for it, and you would receive your like so-called biofield tuning then. And that's that's how the old stories were minimum, and how it was easier for all the ancestors to train their children the way they should go, right? As the Bible verse says, to tell each future coming generation, this is what's meant to be. We can be this way. This is how things work. Um, but they were forgotten because the trees were cut down, and so it no longer sent those frequencies out. The knowledge was occulted, so people didn't know how to tap in. And so that gives us what we are today, with our biofields full of um, stuck emotions from ages ago, with our patterns causing all sorts of these the stuck energies causing all sorts of roadblocks and detours. And so we have all these reactions for control and manipulation of things in our lives to make things happen the way physically we want them all to happen, because we forget that we're spiritual beings, and we forget that the universe is working for our highest spiritual good, not our physical good primarily. And so we today have the opportunity to release this that we carry, to release these patterns, to release it for us and to release it to our ancestors, because it does help them too, even though they're no longer living. I experience that in every ancestral clearing session I do, in every biofield session I do, where we clearing us clears the ancestors. It raises our voltage, it raises theirs, it raises the voltage of the universe. And that's what we're here for. That's one of the things we're here for, to know that we're spirit beings, to know that our spirits are designed to lead and guide our mind, to desire to hear those spirits, to desire to hear our spirit, and desire to align the hemispheres of our brain so that we can listen to our spirit. When those hemispheres are aligned and quiet and in coherent energy, then we hear our spirit. And then to make that conscious choice to live as spirit beings. And once we do that, those have things, then we can learn to live in harmony with the abundance of the universe, releasing that control. Or eventually, perhaps the control won't be a huge issue for us. Wouldn't that be wonderful? I think it would. And to fully express those desires of our own heart that only we can express in the way we can express it. We're meant to express those because we're important to the universe, and the way each of us are would express those or bring those into fruition is something that the universe needs and wants. So it's imperative that we learn to do that. And that's our purposes, right? Our soul purpose, our life purpose. And I was going to read about trees this month in September. As always, on the equinoxes, I do Friend a Tree Week to help you learn how to connect with tree energy, how to go up to a tree and hold your hands on it and listen and feel into that energy, and then talk with the tree, because it's full of spiritual wisdom that it gets from God or from Source. And so that's what Friend a Tree is for, to learn that and to hold these positive intentions for every person to know that they're a spirit being, and for them to desire to hear their spirit. You can hold those intentions for yourself and for your family, for the universe, for your ancestors, and hold the tree while you do it. And the tree will um, send all your intentions, um, amplify your own intentions throughout the universe. So it goes much further, faster, louder than what we can do by ourselves. And I'm going to do an oracle card reading tonight, again from my Tree Angel deck. And I drew the card earlier. Excuse me, I need a drink. And the card I drew tonight is the walnut. Now, it doesn't specify if it's a English walnut or a black walnut, or I don't know, maybe there's some other kind of walnut. So here, I want you to look at the card, and then I'll look at it. See what you notice. Just try to look with spirit. Just wonder. Just have wonder and curiosity, and listen. See if you hear any guidance. And what I see, oh, huh, interesting. I don't know if you could see this, if it was close enough for you to see this, but from the girl's chest to the top of her head up here is a triangle. And looks like it's probably, no, it's not a, is it an isosceles triangle where two sides are the same or three sides are the same? I don't think the three sides are the same. It looks like the bottom's wider, perhaps for stability. And I'm going to look here. Ah, the walnut, the seed inside that we eat, the meat of the walnut that we eat, symbolizes our the two hemispheres of our brain to align those hemispheres and the connection they have of the corpus callosum, that tissue between the hemispheres, and that when those are in harmony and balance, we hear our spirit. And I'm just going to look a little bit more. Huh. I think it's interesting here also. I don't know why, um, but the tree trunk comes just below her navel, like before she gets to her private parts, right? I wonder if that's symbolic of anything. But she seems, even though she's open-chested and everything, she seems calm and confident and secure in her stance, this tree angel. So I'm going to read here. Walnut is one of the earth's ancient mothers because of the nourishment it provides. Of course, the walnut nourishes us in a material sense through its fruit, but its spiritual gift is wisdom, like I was talking about, hearing tree wisdom. Coming into accord with the walnut angel strengthens our foresight, understanding, sensitivity, and ability to empathize. This creates a healthy foundation for our powers of judgment and sense of justice. With the help of walnut, we draw the right conclusions from our experiences, such as when things happen that kind of block us and or interfere with what we're trying to do that day. It's like that's what it's saying. We come draw the right conclusion from our experience. It's not starting to cuss. "Rah, rah, rah. This is happening. This is holding me back. That it does, no one cares. I'm going to go eat worms. I'm tired of this. I'm sick of all this stuff happening." That's the wrong conclusion. That's what they're saying. The conclusion is like we talked, how we realize, oh, the universe is trying to get my attention. It's working in my favor. It's providing these experiences so that I have the opportunity to stop here and lay down my control of changing that pattern that I've had and restoring my original blueprint, releasing all those roadblocks. With the help of the walnut, we draw the right conclusions from our experiences, attaining a mature and deep understanding of, I should say, understanding of life and its governing principles. Since time immemorial, the gentle power of walnut has been honored for its contribution to our spiritual development. And I don't know about you, but I grew up on a farm. We had walnut trees. We always picked up the walnuts and took the husk off and dug in the winter. We would dig the meats out, and mom would make black walnut banana bread. It was really good. But I live in town now. There's walnut trees around, both English and black walnuts, and they're beginning to fall to the ground. The husks are green. And that's what I knew about walnut, right? Things that I eat, I put them in my fruit smoothie every morning for protein. And anyway, that's what walnut was. I had no idea. Its contribution is for our spiritual development. Without the walnut, we act in a superficial, hasty, and short sighted manner, right? Figuring everything's against us, that we need to control things, that things are not happening the way we planned, that it's, and so on and so forth in a negative manner. Ignorance and coarseness gain the upper hand, which quickly leads to misunderstanding and injustice. All too often, this results in needless confrontation, quarreling, and conflict. And the little oracle says, wait and watch, listen and learn. No judgment, no action. Every coin has two sides. Every problem has three solutions. Find the path that in time will nourish all. Draws to my attention, find the path that in time will nourish all. And my wish, my hope for us all is that we use this time we're in, and this time specifically this week as the full moon energies begin to wane and the energy changes again, that that we find our place in time, that we become harmonious with time, and that we use this to our advantage to clear these old patterns and grow in our new spiritual paths that we're designed to have. And so, as you, this full moon, release what is meant for you to release, and something new can take root and start growing in you, I wish you focus and energy to look at that which wants to grow in you and be able to manifest it. So, thank you very much for listening. On Wednesday night at 7, we'll be tuning ourselves to integrate these same energies of the full moon with us so that we can make the most of the energies that the universe is providing for our highest spiritual good. And bye now. I give you thanks for watching.